You know, I remember the night like it was yesterday. It was 3 a.m. I was awake and troubled because I had 3 teenager, young adult children running from God, making destructive choices in their life. And as a mom, I was awakened out of worry. So I went out to my couch and I was sitting on my couch and opened my Bible. And you know, it's amazing how God just has the word for you and will speak to you in your moments of crying out to God. There I was, crying out to God. Maybe you are there now. You're crying out to God, maybe for your marriage, for your finances, maybe for your kids, like I was for your health. I want to bring you encouragement that God showed me in Psalm 107 when I cried out to him. You see, in Psalm 107, there's 4 characters in this psalm, and there's one of them is a wanderer, another one is a prisoner, another one is a rebel, and the 4th one is a fearful person. You know, I could see myself and actually my kids in all of those characters, but here's what God says to the wanderers. In verse 3, it says, "Some wandered in desert wastelands, finding no way to a city where they could settle. They were hungry and thirsty, and their lives ebbed away." And that was kind of like my kids wandering, but then Scripture says this, "Then they cried out to the Lord in their trouble, and he delivered them from their distress." And I'm like, they cried out to the Lord. Oh, then I went to the next character, the prisoner. The prisoner is suffering and locked in chains. And it says they rebelled against the words of God and despised the counsel of the Most High. And I thought, well, I got a few rebels. I know what that looks like. And then the next verse says, then they cried out to the Lord in their trouble, and he saved them from their distress. And then I went to the 3rd character in the psalm, this rebel, and boy, did I have some rebels in my household. It says some were fools, and they had been rebellious. But then it says, they cried out to the Lord, and in their trouble, he saved them from their distress. And finally, there was this fearful person. Well, that was clearly me, the mom on the couch, afraid. Others went out to the sea in ships, it says. They had seen the works of the Lord, and he spoke and stirred up the waves, and they're caught in this wild storm. And it says, and they were at their wits' end. I thought, okay, God, I know who I am in this psalm. I'm at my wits' end. And then it said, then they cried out to the Lord, and he heard their trouble, and he brought them out of their distress. So there I was. What does it mean to cry out to the Lord? I quickly looked up, what does that mean to cry out to you? Like I'm physically crying, I'm in anguish. And this is what it said. To cry out means to come to the end of yourself. I was truly there. And God said this miraculous thing to me. That's what you're going to pray for your kids. That's what you're going to pray for the wanderers, the rebels, the prisoners. You're going to pray that they will come to the end of themselves. And you know, that became our prayer. For many years, we prayed that our kids would come to the end of themselves so that they would cry out to God, because there's a promise. When you cry out to God, he hears your prayers and he will set you free. I have seen the answer to prayer in my life, in my family's life, and he wants that for you today. Whether you're the rebel, whether you're the prisoner, whether you're the wanderer, or whether you're just simply at your wits' end, cry out to God, come to the end of yourself. He will hear your prayers and he will set you free.